Well, hello everyone. It is April, and today I wanted to share with you books that I'd really love to read in 2022. Of course, there's my entire library behind me that I'd like to read before 2022 is up, but that's impossible. So I've carefully selected a few books that I think are going to be great. First up, I've got a big pile of fiction books. And these are specifically from my patrons over on Patreon. If you don't know, I have a little Patreon account and you can come and join me over there if you would like. We've got a book club. We also have like a monthly book recommendation thing where I recommend books to you on a monthly basis. And then once a year, I recommend, I believe it's usually 3 books. This time it was 4 books to some of my patrons. So they have to fill out this whole form thing. And they don't know that I'm doing this at all, actually. So surprise. But they have to fill out a form where they tell me the best books that they read the year before, as well as like a plethora of other questions. But I looked at all of those books that they loved so much from 2021, and I went to my shelves, and the books that I owned, I have compiled here, and I'm hoping to read them through the year. So there is that for fiction, and then we also have a stack of nonfiction books that I am really hoping are going to help me with growth and with my aim of finding peace with certain things in my life. So let us dive into the fiction, because I feel like most of you out there are big, huge fiction fans if you're anything like me. So the first book is a book recommended by Crystal. She loved The Return by Rachel Harrison. So this is a bit of a horror meets thriller book. I think I would classify it more on the horror side of things, but I could be wrong. Crystal, let me know what you think. But The Return is about a group of friends who get back together after their friend has returned from a mysterious disappearance that lasted 2 years. 2 years, she was gone without a trace. She has returned, and she's returned different. Something is off about her. Something is strange about her. And we follow this group of friends getting together and seeing their friend for the first time in a long time. And specifically, we're really looking at Elise, who was Julie's best friend. And Julie is the woman who vanished without a trace. And her character and how she feels about Julie's return. It sounds like a lot of fun. So yes, I would love to read this. A book that I am going to hold off reading until Christmas time, December-ish, maybe November, knowing me, is Midnight in Everwood. This was loved by Ruth, and this is like historical fiction meets fantasy. And I just think that sounds like a lovely little blend. You guys know me that I don't tend to read a lot of fantasy, but this kind of fantasy is right up my alley. If I'm gonna like fantasy, it would be something along these lines. This takes place in Nottingham in 1906, and we meet a ballerina named Marietta Stell. Now, her dancing days are very much numbered at this point. Her whole family is really pressuring her to become married, and she does, I think, dance for her final time. And a mysterious toy maker called Dr. Drosselmeyer moves into the neighborhood, and he buys a townhouse close by, and he brings in magic. And I think she's like whisked away to another world. Very Nutcracker inspired, obviously. Ruth loved it. I'm hoping I will too. An absolute classic, Beloved, was adored by Anne Kristen, and I've had this on my shelf for so long. I still have not read a Toni Morrison, and I think I really shied away from this book in particular for a good long time because it deals with grief and loss of a baby, of an infant. This follows a woman Seth, who was born into slavery. She was born enslaved, and she is able to escape, but in that escape, she has to leave behind the body of her child who passed away. And this child haunts her in some way. And I think at this point, I might be ready to read this. It sounds very sad, like unbelievably sad, but also really important. So I'd really love to read that for sure. Now, Lisa absolutely loved They Never Learn. And I feel like this has been on several booktubers' favorites lists from 2021. This follows a woman who is on campus. I think she is a professor, and she is also a serial killer. She goes about killing off the bad men on campus, essentially. If it's a student, she'll kill them. If it's a professor, she'll kill them. And it is her experience being a serial killer, but like of the good variety, like the Dexter variety. Apparently this is very much something that is compared to Promising Young Woman, which was one of my favorite movies that I watched last year, and like might be one of my favorite movies of all time. So Lisa, here's hoping I'm gonna love this one too. Last but not least, for the fiction variety of things, is Horror Store by Grady Hendrix. You guys know how much I adore Grady Hendrix. I love him. Maggie absolutely loved this book, and it's so cool. Like, I've never seen anything like this. Now, this is apparently like a haunted house story. I think originally I thought it was a zombie story, but maybe not. In any case, it is a horror story that takes place at a shop that's very much inspired by IKEA. Like, even the book looks like an IKEA catalog. I can't wait. I don't know how. I haven't read this yet. So Maggie, we're gonna have to chat about it after I pick this up. So moving on, you guys know that I shared with you my goals for 2022. I created a little vision board for myself, and I have a stack of books here that are all nonfiction. Many of them are self-helpy, and I hope that these books will help me achieve some of those goals. The word of the year for me was peace. I will link, by the way, my video where I chat about my goals in the description box below for you. Yeah, so my goal was peace, and is peace, for 2022. And I really think that some of these books are going to help me with that. I would love to create a peaceful relationship with Nora. Parenting is stressful, as you can imagine, but I really want her to know that she is loved, not only through my words, but by my actions as well. And I just want to be the best mom I can be. And so I would really love to read the book you wish your parents had read, and your children will be glad that you did. Firstly, I feel like the name makes me feel guilty for having this on my shelves. I have great parents. It makes me feel bad, but this is really about parenting to the best of your ability, breaking negative cycles and patterns, it says on the back, handling your own and your child's feelings. I have a harder time handling my own feelings. So I think this will be really good. I remember I started reading this when Nora was first born, and then I had a newborn. It was just madness at the time. So I think I am ready to pick this up. I have quite a few books here that I've started reading and then stopped. And this is one of them. Burnout, The Secret to Unlocking the Stress Cycle. I have definitely experienced burnout. I feel like most people, when they think about burnout, they always think exclusively almost of your career and your job, and life itself can be busy. And when you have so many things toppled on top of each other, it's very easy to burn out. And this is a scientific and experiential look at the experience of burnout and what you can do to acknowledge when you're getting there and how to stop it from happening. And I think that would make me have a more peaceful existence. I really do. Another news thing that happened the end of 2021 is we discovered that we are going to be a family of 3. We did an embryo transfer. It did not work. We are not planning on trying again for IVF or anything like that. And so I really want to feel fully at peace. I feel mostly at peace, but fully at peace with being a family of 3. And a lot of that for me centers around my concerns about Nora and Nora being happy and Nora feeling like she has people around her. That is one of the benefits of having a sibling is they're there, they're there for all of the major events of your life, and they know your life in a way that no one else is really going to. Yeah, that's one of the things that I love about having my sister. And Nora's not going to have that. And so I really need to get to a place in my life where I feel at peace surrounding that. And so I picked up One and Only, the freedom of having an only child and the joy of being one. And I really hope that this is going to make me feel excited maybe about Nora being an only child and really look at the good parts of it. Because it's very easy for me to go to like, oh, but what about this, and fears and my brain. So I really am looking forward to reading this one. Next is How to Fail by Elizabeth Day. I heard about this from Simon and it just sounds important. I feel like we as a society are terrified of failure and feel shame surrounding failure. And this book really examines it and makes you think differently, apparently, about failure. And I just think that that would make me have more internal peace. That is for sure. A lot of these books are surrounding how I view things. And I think this could really make me view life events that happen in a whole new way. And so this is her experience about failure. It says, everything I've learned from things going wrong. Sounds good. Another book that I love to read is The Mountain Is You by Brianna Weist, probably. Transforming self-sabotage into self-mastery. One of the things that I really struggle with, and I'm sure many people do, is self-sabotage. I can sometimes very much be the person, the obstacle getting in the way of my goals. And I think this is going to be an eye-opener for me and why I do these things, why I self-sabotage in so many ways in life. I have another book downstairs about binge eating and there's nothing wrong with overeating, but this is like binge eating, which is an actual problem that I've personally experienced. And that is opening my mind in a whole new way. So I probably should have had that up here. But this kind of goes along with that, I think. So The Mountain Is You. I've heard really good things about her as an author. She also wrote a book called like 1001 Essays. Maybe it's 101. 1001 seemed like a lot. Essays to like live the best life or something along those lines. And I see them in a lot of TikTokers' living rooms. Anyway, fingers crossed this makes me confront a part of me that is getting in the way of my highest me. And last but not least is Atlas of the Heart by Brené Brown. I really love Brené Brown. I reread one of her books and now I'm forgetting what it's called. The Gifts of Imperfection. I reread that last year. I just love her. This is her latest book and one of my subscribers sent this to me and now I'm forgetting. I want to say it was Maggie, but maybe it wasn't Maggie. I usually keep all of the Amazon like gift things, receipt things in the book, and somehow it has slipped out. If it is not Maggie, if it is Maggie, whoever it was, can you send me a little message, like a comment, Because I feel so badly. I want to like have a post-it note or something in here. I don't know where in the world that went. Anyway, this book is her latest book about self-discovery and really exploring emotions, exploring your emotions in a way that allows you to name your emotions. I think it also is about connection. Her books are often about connection and self-esteem. And of course, vulnerability is like what she is most known for. So I'd love to read this. This is also stunning. When this came in the mail, I had no idea that her new book was this gorgeous. Like, it is a proper coffee table book. In any case, I'm very, very eager to read that. And those are all of the books that I'd really love to read in 2022. Some of them I think are just going to be joyful, like so much fun to read, and others I really think could make me better and make me look at things better and have a more peaceful way of interacting with myself, with my family, with the world. So that is the hope. Let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these books. I'd love to know your thoughts specifically, especially I should say, if you liked them, because I'm excited about all of them. So it's nice to hear good things. I hope you're doing well, and I will talk with you very soon. Bye.